Welcome to Soup to Nuts. I'm Dennis Eldridge. I'm a member of the Ashland Fire Department here in town. I just want to thank Cable Access for letting me come in and cook my way into your kitchen this morning. I'm going to do a little vegetable stir fry with some linguine and some chicken. And I already got the pasta started. And what I want to do is get started, cut up some chicken, and cut up some onion and the squash. It's broccoli, cauliflower, summer squash, onion, and a little red bell pepper. And today, for a little variation, for a little change, I'm going to use a little of some dry soup mix that is relatively low in fat. The whole meal is relatively low in fat, a little high fiber. With today's society, everybody's looking for something that's quick, easy, and a little nutritious. I just want to get started, and I hope you're enjoying your nice day today, because it is beautiful outside. It is the middle of winter, and you never know that in another 3 weeks we could be back in snow any day. So it's enjoyable today. I just would have just as soon been out barbecuing out in the backyard, I think, instead of inside the kitchen. I usually put in, depending on who we're cooking for, whether it's at home or with the firefighters. The people at the fire station, they like it fast, they like lots of it, and they like it spicy. It's enjoyable to cook for a group of people that will enjoy and sit down and have a nice big meal. Everybody is got a big appetite at the fire station. At home, my kids enjoy a lot of fresh veggies. My wife enjoys having a lot of fresh vegetables. We were told recently, after different medical problems recently, that the vegetables we were eating weren't enough, that they wanted more in our diet. So we changed slightly in getting some more in there. I'm going to put in today. I'm going to probably put in about a cup of onions. I'm going to get them started, and I'm going to use them. Then I'll be putting in the dry soup mix. It's what they call a fiesta herb and red pepper. It's just going to give it a nice flavor when we get started. I got to sneak over here to the refrigerator and get out the chicken. I forgot the chicken. Today I'm going to use a chicken that's it's a strip chicken. It's a chicken breast, and it's pretty much ready to go. I just want to cut it up about one time. The guys at the fire station, they say sometimes this is the best part of the day, but we'll get halfway through the meal, or halfway through cooking it, and we'll end up having to put it on hold. The other day we had a busy day, and I ended up 3 times reheating the lunch for everybody because we got so busy during the day. But they do enjoy cooking the chicken and eating the chicken. It's very fast and easily reheatable, and it doesn't melt out. Okay, well, let's get started here. All right, a little salt and pepper. Everybody has their own idea of what tastes good as far as spices go. Everybody enjoys, at home and at work, everybody enjoys a lot of spice. As in low fat cooking, it doesn't hurt to take away, you're taking away some of the fat and some of the other items that make the meals taste good. I'd just like to take away some of the bad stuff and make it spicy. I don't have any hard and fast rules in cooking a lot of things, only because one day you feel like spice, one day you might feel like something sweet. So I like to change it a little bit every time. Especially at the station, you never know what's going to happen. You never know how long you're going to be out there. So we're just do it as I feel that we need it. The guys sometimes will come up and say, "Oh, is lunch ready yet?" And they're after you. But sometimes it's a nice Sunday, and you can spend some time cooking for everybody. It's one of the benefits of the job. I'm going to cut up probably half of a red bell pepper to put in there once we get started. Now we get the chicken going. I say the ingredients again are, we start with chicken, whatever type of chicken you like to do is comfortable for you. This is a boneless breast of chicken. I'll cut up things bite size. I don't enjoy cooking with anything too large, it makes too much of a mess. I'd rather cook instead of clean up. I got some items already cut up. I got the broccoli, I got the cauliflower, and we've got some summer squash that we're going to use today. A lot of times I'll use a couple of different types of squash. Like I say, going over them again today, I will use onions, a white onion, chicken, boneless breasted chicken, then some linguine, some cauliflower, some broccoli, and one of the dry soup mixes, whatever one is to your taste at the time. All right, we get most of the items cut up now. And now we'll check the best part of being the chef is being able to have a little snack when you're cooking. And we'll see if any of the pasta is ready. I pre-cook the pasta because again once you get everything done, you got to put it in the frying pan together, and that's the best part of the meal. Have a little snack while you're cooking and see how it's going. When the pasta's done now, we can just let that sit. If you don't cook it too fast, then you can usually gauge your time correctly overall. Chicken's just getting started. You get the chicken, do the chicken about 3/4 done so that everything will more or less finish together. The peppers will cook quicker than some of the other items. So you don't want to add those too soon because otherwise it's just mush. And I'd rather have all the veggies is a little on the crisp side. The onions, I like tender and get a lot of that heavy juice out of them. But the rest of the vegetables, I like to have them done in a coordinated, more or less fashion. So, it smells great already. I've never used this dry soup particularly before. It's new on the market, and I think it's going to make a nice sauce for it. Okay, everything's ready. I can get some of the stuff out of the way. I like to leave probably at least a cup and a half of water in the chicken at all times so that you have a nice something to literally steam the veggies with, because it's that's the best part of doing a stir fry is the steam actually cooks the vegetables. You're not boiling them. You want to put a cover on the top once you get everything in place, and the steam will just cook the vegetables and make them nice and tender. So we're getting pretty close to done for the chicken. The one thing nice about the chicken, it doesn't take too long to cook. All right. The chicken's pretty close to done. What I'll do now is I think I will add some of the vegetables and turn it down a little bit to a simmer. And once I get everything in, we can turn it back up and put the top back on. Vegetables, like I say, again, cauliflower, broccoli. And when I do this at the fire station, I'll usually end up cooking for 4 or 5 people. I probably cooked up for up to as many as 9 or 10 there at a time. And it is, a lot of times I will do, about two 10 or 12-inch skillets full of this dish. Too much of a slob here. I'll let this add a little bit of water. Let that go a little bit. And I probably should, for now, just let this cook a little bit. And come back in a few minutes to see how we've done. Well, we're back now, and at this point, probably just about ready to add the rest of the color and the rest of the vegetables to the meal. What I found the best part about the meal is, that should be done, is color. If it isn't visually appealing, then it doesn't work. You can cook everything. You can cook all pasta and chicken and cauliflower, and it doesn't look as visually appealing. The red bell peppers are a nice spice. They makes it an excellent flavor, and it adds something to the white and the green when you have so much the pasta and the onions and the broccoli, the cauliflower. So visually appealing is as nice as the taste, or as important, I should say. So what I'm going to do now is stir it all up. And you have to make sure that what you have now is you have to keep enough of a liquid in there that it won't burn. You want to turn it down, simmer it approximately 20-25 minutes. It all depends on how much you have in the pan, how big your vegetables are, how big you've cut them up. So this, to me, it looks excellent and it smells excellent. I wish you could all be here to sample this when we get done. I know that I will enjoy it when we finish. So at this point, I think that we will take a break, and they will have the address flashed on the screen for you to copy down, and we'll be back when this is 3/4 done, and when we'll sample it as we finish. Okay, thank you. Welcome back. Right now we have, hopefully, got it finished. Hopefully it's like I like it. Like I said before, I like the veggies a little bit still on the crisp side. And stir the sauce up once to make sure everything is equal and it's not burned. New stove, I've never cooked on this stove before. Right now I think it looks pretty good. I think it's time to add some pasta. I've got a regular linguine for this. It is about almost finished. What I want to do is just add the linguine, stir it in, and just let it simmer for a couple of minutes just to get it hot. And then we should be pretty much ready. I didn't have any, like I said before, I didn't have any hard and fast rules on cooking. And I just like to stay with that because it's whatever you feel at the time. It's if you feel like a little sweet, a little spice, depending on how many people that you have to cook for. Don't get into a rut as far as sizes and amounts and taste. It's enjoyable to try something a little different every time. Well, we'll stir this up. And hopefully, it will taste good. After the meal, or I should say with the meal, what I will do is, again, try to see what looks good with the meal. You can add a little garlic to this. We can have some garlic bread with it, or just a straight bread. You can do different things that go along with it. Again, I like, after a meal like this, something that's fairly spicy. I like having a little something sweet after the meal, just to take the edge off. And that pretty much looks pretty good. What we can do now is just let this sit for a minute, and we should be all set to try it. We'll just put the cover back on, let it steam a little bit, and it should be good. So we can wait for a minute and come back, and we should be all set.
Hi, my name is Dave Irusi from the Ashland Fire Department. Today we're going to talk about carbon monoxide poisoning in the household. You may know that carbon monoxide is tasteless, odorless, and there's no way of telling that it's in your house. But you can do something about it. And what that is you can look at your furnaces, boilers, water heaters, wood burners, or any kind of unit that burns fossil fuel and inspect it. If you notice any signs of rotting on it, then you want to call an appliance man immediately. If it's an emergency, you can call the fire department and the gas company and have them come out and check your household. Some of the signs of carbon monoxide poisoning is that you get nauseous, headaches, flu-like symptoms. And as it progresses and gets worse, you could have respiratory problems, pass out, and you could even die from it. So please, call your appliance man if you feel you have a problem now, and if it's an emergency, call the gas company, the fire department, someone who could get out there 24 hours a day in an emergency situation. And please, have a safe and happy winter. Thank you for watching Safety Tips.
Okay, we're back now, and I believe it's all done. Pasta's been put in. We had our bread would be all set. And then the other side dish that you want to bring. And just stir this up, make sure it's all moist. We have our plate all ready. And we are ready to chow down. At this point, if I was at work, I know right now that the bell would ring and we'd be out the door. Without a doubt. Keep all the color in there. And here we have, let's say, a vegetable stir fry with pasta and chicken. And hopefully everybody will enjoy it. And I thank you today for letting me come into your kitchen, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Ireland. It's one of Western Europe's most lightly populated, least industrialized, and least spoiled countries. It also has one of the longest and most tragic histories in Europe. That long history is easy to trace, from Stone Age passage tombs and ring forts down through ancient monasteries and mighty castles. The tragic side is equally easy to unearth. The destruction wrought by the Vikings is still visible in the ruins of once great monasteries. These solid reminders of Irish history fall into a number of groups and can be seen throughout the countryside. The simplest structures are standing stones and stone circles, which in Ireland date from the Stone or Bronze Ages. The principal surviving structures from the Stone Age times are the graves and monuments the people built for their dead, usually grouped under the heading of megalithic tombs or great stone tombs. Among the most easily recognized are dolmens, massive three-legged structures rather like giant stone stools, in which a number of bodies were interred before the whole structure was covered in earth. Ring forts, fairy rings, and rafts are all one and the same, and the Irish countryside is peppered with the remains of over 30,000. The most common types were the ring fort, with circular earth and stone banks topped with a wooden fence. Some forts, such as the Straight Fort in Kerry, were constructed entirely of stone. Ring forts are found everywhere and were the basic family or tribal enclosure in Ireland for thousands of years. Crannogs are artificial islands found in many Irish lakes, and they are the equivalent of a ring fort on water. Many of them were built entirely by humans. Wooden piles were driven into the lake floor, and the structure built up with wood, stone, and earth. The Craiganoan Archaeological Center in Clare has this reconstructed example. The vast majority of early monasteries were built of perishable materials, particularly wood, so little remains from that period. But as monasteries grew in size and stature, so too did the architecture. The Rock of Cashel is Ireland's most majestic historical landmark. It stands 300 feet above the surrounding plains and is an awe-inspiring presence. Mighty stone walls encircle a complete round tower, a roofless abbey, and the finest 12th century Romanesque chapel in Ireland. For over 1,000 years, the Rock of Cashel was a symbol of power, the base of king and churchmen who ruled over the region and the country as a whole. Two of Ireland's most famous cathedrals are St. Patrick's and the Christ Church Cathedral, which was originally built of wood by the Danes in 1038. St. Patrick himself is said to have baptized converts at a well within the cathedral's ground, so St. Patrick's Cathedral stands on one of the earliest Christian sites in the city. One architectural structure that appears in abundance throughout Ireland is the castle. The countryside is peppered with these remarkable fortresses. The most famous of Ireland's castles is the Blarney. Blarney's claim to fame is the legendary Blarney Stone, which, when kissed, gives the person the gift of gab. It was Queen Elizabeth I who invented the word, due to her exasperation with Lord Blarney's ability to talk endlessly without ever actually agreeing to her demands. Gaining some Irish eloquence requires bending over backwards to kiss the sacred stone. Another famous Irish castle is Bunratty. The Vikings built a fortified settlement at this spot, a former island surrounded by a moat. Then came the Normans, who built the first stone structure on the site in the 1270s. The present castle is the fourth or fifth structure to occupy the location. In the small town of Birr stands the Birr Castle. The castle grounds hold one of the most impressive and extraordinary structures in Ireland. The third Earl of Roose, William Parsons, wanted to build the biggest telescope in the world. The resulting Leviathan of Parsonstown, a 72-inch reflector telescope completed in 1845, remained the largest in existence for 75 years, attracting astronomers and scientists from all over the world. The instrument was used to map the surface of the moon and made a multitude of discoveries, including the spiral galaxies. Amazingly, the telescope was built in Birr with local engineering and materials. The Science Museum in London now has the telescope's huge 72-inch reflector, but the massive walls remain. The other great Irish symbol, the Celtic cross, comes from the Christian times during the 9th and 10th centuries. Some suggest that the circle imposed on the arms of the cross represents pagan sun worship being incorporated into the new faith. Ireland is packed with magnificent reminders of its tragic past, and its present has been no less turbulent. Yet travelers could be forgiven for forgetting this sad history when faced with the peaceful green landscape of the center, with its lakes and its mountains, or the magnificent cliffs of the Atlantic coast. Ireland was a land of saints and of scholars, and it still offers both solitude and good company to all who visit.
Oh, look, what's Mr. Turkey doing? Looks like he's hard at work at his computer again. That's what he does every day, 9 to 5. Work, 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 gobble, gobble, gobble. Oh, look, it's 4 o'clock. I think Mr. Turkey wants to go home. So sorry, you've got nearly an hour to go. Work, 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 gobble, gobble, gobble. Now what's Mr. Turkey doing? That's right, Mr. Turkey. It's daylight savings time. And that means it's really 5 o'clock and not 4, and Mr. Turkey can go home. Well done, Mr. Turkey. Don't you be a turkey. Remember, daylight savings time is Sunday, April 2nd. Set your clocks ahead 1 hour. And while you're setting your clock ahead, it just might be a very good idea to change the batteries in your smoke detector.